Hi everyone, I'm your host, Jim Gardiner, and this is the Inspirational 30. Welcome. This is my little journey each week where I get to sit down with some amazing people and hopefully inspire you at home to be a better version of yourself. So today's show, I am super excited on many levels. This is my first athlete to the show, which holds something close to my heart. This guest is also a wife, a mother, politician, world champion, and Olympic champion. She is a true beacon of how athletics can mold and shape one's life and really guide them in everything they do. Watch this.
So away they go in this 100 metres final. Vervoort away very well. Silver in the 400 for her. Behind Stilwell, who's moving well, and Morgan also. Now here goes Michelle Stilwell for Canada. Does Vervoort have anything left in the tank to fight back? Stilwell moving up. Morgan will be second. And Vervoort third. That's the 1, 2, 3 in 1942. Breaks Vervoort's Paralympic record. And that will be the double. Bentasat coming home in 5th place.
Well, this woman needs no introduction. Please welcome Michelle Stilwell.
Hi, Jim. How are you? Thanks for having me today.
Good. Welcome to the show. This is fantastic. So obviously, so many things I just want to ask you, but I'm going to just take it slow. First off, what goes through your mind when you see that clip? I know you're a few months removed from that, but what goes through your mind?
I get goosebumps.
Do you still?
Yeah.
I love it.
Certainly, and especially when I get the opportunity to watch the podium, the medal ceremony, when I see the flag rise and Hero Canada, I get goosebumps like crazy on my arms, tingles on my face. Pretty incredible moments that took so much determination and early mornings and commitment and pushing myself harder than I ever thought I could to achieve that success.
I've been privileged to know a few Olympic athletes in the rowing world, but I've never just straight up asked someone this. So I want to ask you this because it gives me the chills. But what is it like when you're on the podium and that anthem is playing for your country, but it's also playing for you? What is that like?
I think that could probably put me to tears. You know, it's the gratitude. Yeah, look at that. It just.
Well, me too. I mean, I just know, and I've never been there, but I just know.
Yeah,
you know.
It's this incredible moment where, you know, it all comes together and you know that so many people have supported you along the way, people who cheered for you, who gave you advice, people who, you know, you walk this journey through life and you come across all these incredible people, and from each single person you have something to learn. Everybody can teach you something, and in that moment it puts it all into one little package, and there's so much pride and joy for competing for Canada, the most amazing country in the world, in my opinion. You know, I feel so grateful to have been born here and raised here and be able to call Canada my home.
Amazing. I mean, and forgive me for going to my cue cards on this, you at home, but I just have to read this off, so bear with me. 6-time Paralympic gold medalist in basketball and track, 9 times world champion, world record holder in the 100, 200, and 800 meter T52 class. I mean, my coffee table here is adorned with shiny objects. You know, I mean, it just, do you take time to actually stop and reflect? You know, because we know as athletes, we know it's not just standing on top of the mountain. It's all about the journey, as you just said, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's the joy that I get each and every day. I carry my Rio medal's the one I carry around with me everywhere I go now. It's in my purse, or it's under my chair. And I get that opportunity to share it with Canadians. And every time I'm out in public, I'm in the grocery store, I'm at work, I'm at an event, people are interested in the story and they want to ask about Rio, or, you know, prior to that was Beijing or London, and my ability to pull it out and see their reaction when they get to hold it in their hands and feel it themselves and see the joy that it brings them and the pride that it brings them that I represented Canada and brought that medal home for them. It's the power of the medal is amazing, really. And I try each and every day to share that with as many Canadians as I can. Sure. Because it is about each and every Canadian. It's my journey, and I may have done the work and gotten up early every morning to push myself hard and to improve my skills and take my talent, my ability to the highest level. But each and every Canadian shares in every single one of those medals.
That's amazing. I mean, for you at home, most of us don't have the privilege of holding an Olympic medal. I mean, these things are legit, right? They are. I mean, there's power in this. You know, it is an amazing thing, and it's an amazing tool for knowledge, right?
Absolutely, and I think Paralympic medals are unique in so many ways because they tell a story, and it really is about the growth of the Paralympic movement. And sure. The one you were just holding was from London, and maybe at home you can't see it, but the ripples on the front, the design of that medal was taken from the British Museum, from the die-cast collection. It's the Greek goddess of victory. It's the heart of the Greek goddess of victory. And if you flipped it over on the other side, you can see that there's sort of wings, the wisps of wings.
Yes.
And that's a representation of the flight of the Paralympic medal. They're the Greek goddess of victory's wings. So I mean, there's always a story there. You know, we have Braille on our medals, which makes them unique. The Rio medal, actually, for the very first time ever, when they make noise. So when you shake the Rio medal, the gold, the silver, and bronze all sound different, so that the visually impaired athletes, when they're holding a medal, they can tell whether it's gold, silver, or bronze just by the sound.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Wow. I mean, geez. Okay, so we sit here, and you sit here as an accomplished athlete, and we're going to get into athletics and what it means to you in a moment. But obviously, everything comes to an end.
In a way, retirement for me is an end to the competitive portion of representing Canada.
Absolutely.
But sport will always be a part of my life. It has been a part of my life since I was a child. I've always been an athlete. I will continue to be an athlete. It is ingrained. It is part of who I am. And it's like you said earlier, it has molded me to be the person I am today. It has created the characteristics that define me.
I mean, obviously, it was a big announcement that came out recently that you are stepping away from competition, and just clarified, just from competition. But you know, I don't think, especially a high-level athlete like yourself, that's not an easy decision, is it?
Certainly not, and it's something that, you know, has been on my mind for several years. If we go back to London in 2012, London's goal was set the day after Beijing finished. My coach and I said, next goal, come back in Beijing, repeat as Paralympic champion in the 100 and the 200. And so 4 years go by, 1,460 days of incredible training, and I didn't succeed in achieving my goal. And many people would say, you know, a silver medal, that's so much to be proud of, and you achieved something so great, why not end now? And for me, it was just that little thing where I didn't feel like I had accomplished what I set out to do, and I needed to ensure that I was leaving sport on my own terms, not because other people were saying, how much longer are you going on for, and don't you have enough medals, and how much do you need from sport. It was really just the fact that I still had a passion for sport. I loved getting up and training. I'm the crazy person who loves to push myself so hard that I'm, seeing stars and I'm dizzy and, huffing and puffing. I love that feeling. And I intend on still doing that each and every day because, like I said, it's part of who I am and what I do. And my life now from retirement, from competition, isn't going to change all that much because from London to now, that 4 years, it was also the 4 years that I've served as MLA. And I feel like I've sort of phased myself out a little bit from the sport because I didn't go to training camps. I didn't travel the world with the team and compete all over the place. I went to maybe 2 track meets a year in order to get my qualifying times so that I could compete at the major event. And so it amounted to a few weeks of vacation time from work for me to be able to compete on the world stage and do what I love doing. And so now my routine's not going to change, other than when I go on vacation, it will actually be a vacation and it won't be about sport and there won't be a track involved, and I won't have to lug all the gear along with me that goes with being an athlete.
Sure. I think, is it safe to say that, in all of these medals here, I mean, obviously we haven't mentioned it yet, but family, I mean, your husband, right?
Yeah.
Your child. I mean, I think with every athlete comes that also that juggle of support, obviously putting them through a lot of stuff. They have to go on this journey with you. Obviously they've been very supportive, but
it's been a good journey for them. They've gotten to travel the world.
Oh, there you go. So.
I think my husband won't miss schlepping around the gear, but my sport career has enabled my son to see the world, to travel the world. We were homeschooling Kai for 4 years, the early years, and it enabled us to do so much more as a family, to be together as a family. And I don't think they'll miss hanging out at the track, right?
Sure.
But my husband and I met the year that I got invited to my first national team camp for basketball. So he doesn't know life any different.
Yeah. He's going to find out.
Yeah, exactly. And so it certainly was a bit of a decision, a family decision, and I want to support him in his goals now and what he wants to do. He's thinking about doing his first half marathon. And I'm like, good. Excellent, I'll be at the finish line cheering. and it'll be a great thing.
Amazing. Good. I do want to I know we're going to get into the athletics. I just want to touch, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of viewers that are from the States through my connections and such, being American. But I do want to touch on your injury because that was a long time ago. Can you kind of just take us through, because I think you were 17, is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, so
17 years old, made a choice to piggyback ride on my friend, fell backwards. My neck hit a staircase. I shattered my C6, C7 vertebrae into thousands of little pieces. My spinal cord swelled up and instantly paralyzed me. And since that day, I've had multiple setbacks. I didn't break my neck, go through rehab, and carry on with life. I've had multiple spinal fusions and surgeries. I had in 2005 brain surgery from acquired Chiari malformation, which is a herniated brainstem, which means I fell backwards and hit my head again in my chair, and that caused more cerebral spinal fluid problems. And so, I mean, I've had so many surgeries, I've lost count. But each one of those moments and each one of those parts of the journey have, again, created who I am today and has really allowed me to know that there is always something else. And when one door closes and things change, there's another door that opens. And if you persevere and you're determined and you take those opportunities as they present themselves to you, anything is possible.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Obviously, at 17, were you involved in sport to a degree? In your teen years?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like I said, from a young child,
Yeah.
I have a brother who's 2 years older than me, and I was always trying to keep up to him and his friends. So what the boys were doing, I was trying to do, and I was usually doing it better. But, it was street hockey, and I started skating, and my parents put me in everything from tap dancing, jazz dancing. I was a brownie, I was a Girl Guide, I was playing soccer and baseball, and I played ringette through my junior high into my early high school years. You name it, I was trying.
Nice.
To
Do you
do it.
do you still keep in touch with the friend that you were piggybacking with?
We certainly did. Post-injury,
Yeah.
he's moved to the States now. He's
Okay.
he was a speed skater, so we actually both trained in the early 2000s at U of C. I was there for basketball. He was there with speed skating. There's no animosity,
Of course, but
there's things
Still,
happen.
It's a life-changing for him too, of
Yeah.
course, right? To a
Yeah.
degree. And
I still get a
you know?
Christmas card from his mom.
Yes. Good. So here we are. Obviously, I think what I really want to get into now is, what I love about you. And when we first met, it's not about the chair. It's not about being adaptive. It's none of that stuff. It is, I'm an athlete. I'm just like everyone else. That's the way I want to be perceived, and that's how I approach when I talk to people. I love it, and I really do. It gets me going. But, it's safe to say, as I mentioned earlier, athletics has molded who you are. Let's talk about the state of athletics in this day and age, particularly with our younger. I have 2 girls, 9 and 6. They're just starting to get involved in that arena. Where are we at in this day and age compared to when we were kids?
Well, I think sport needs to continue to be the foundation for our youth. And I certainly think it's a struggle nowadays with technology, electronics, and how do you pull the kids out of their obsession and their habits with their devices and make them acknowledge and realize the endorphins that come from sport and participating, the friendships that are built around sport, and the learnings and the teachings that come from failure and success,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right?
absolutely,
And
yes.
winning and losing, and falling down and picking yourself back up. All those fundamental things that create the person that you'll become. It's so critical, and we have amazing grassroots coaches in every sport around our province and in our country that believe in those kids and have to work a little bit harder, I think, now to keep them off the sidelines and involved in sport. And there's also the aspect of the cost of sport, and how do we ensure that kids who can't afford sport have the opportunity to get involved in sport. And that's why I'm a kids sport ambassador, to ensure that the funds are available for those kids who are in a financial situation that the parents are struggling to pay registration fees and have their child participate in sport. When I think about it, it's just this lifelong journey that has really built so many facets of my life, and it's those friendships and the ability to travel and the strength that comes from training that allows me to be independent in my life. And you said it, I see myself as an athlete. My chair is just my piece of equipment, just like a hockey player uses a hockey stick and skates, or a bobsledder has a sled. I don't call myself an athlete with a disability. Call myself an athlete.
Absolutely.
What difference does it make what level of function I have? I'm an athlete and an elite athlete, and the goal always is to push myself harder and further than anyone else so that I can have those world records, so that I can be the best in the world and have the success that comes with it.
Sure, sure. And you touched on earlier teachings. I mean, sport is a teacher. I am a firm believer that, in this day and age, more so than ever, life lessons aren't necessarily learned in a classroom. I think first and foremost, they should be learned at home with the family. And I think sport, I'm the same way as you. Not at a high level as you are, but, I've run properties. I've been successful doing many different things. Why? Because of sport. Simple as that. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't go to school for that. But so many facets of what I learned, I was able to apply to day-to-day life and running a business and dealing with other people, team members, right? There's so many crossovers.
Absolutely, and it's not just, it's not easy. There's work involved in it. You have to put the work in if you want to have the success. Nothing's going to be given to you. And, granted that some of us have some natural talent in our DNA, certainly, I would argue Michael Jordan has some great DNA to be an amazing basketball player. But he still had to practice each and every day and make those skills a habit so that the success would come. And that when you put in the work, and you focus on the process of what it takes to be successful and to work on every little detail, whether for me it's how much my chair weighs, what my seating position is, how my gloves are built, all those details create the whole package that put me at the top. It wasn't an easy task by any means.
Right, and then those details, and then you take that, now that you're in the political arena, you approach dealing with work every day, systematically going.
Setting goals and planning and
same
organizing
thing.
And having the long-term vision and understanding what it's going to take to get there, knowing and realizing that it's not going to happen overnight, that it will take time and commitment, and not giving up when it gets hard.
Exactly.
And I think I've certainly learned that as an MLA and as a minister for social development and social innovation. There's so much that I want to do and so much that I want to achieve within my ministry, and it takes time. And I'm working and I'm chipping away at these small little successes and ability to change policy and to improve the lives of the people we serve in our ministry, but I can't do it overnight. And I do have that long-term vision, and especially when I look at the social innovation file of my portfolio, to ensure that we have social enterprises that are having the social impact to create opportunities and break down barriers for people in our community so that they can reach their full potential, so that they can have the opportunities that everyone deserves.
Well said. So we do have to start wrapping it up, but I do want to kind of just touch on what does the next chapter hold for Michelle Stilwell? The life is out there now. The world is your oyster. So what's it going to be?
Well, certainly in the next 80 days or so, there's our next provincial election happens on May 9th, and that's the focus right now. I'm in the legislature finishing up our final pieces of legislation before we go into the election, and then it's campaign time. And that means getting out and knocking on doors and talking to people, ensuring that they understand what our vision is for British Columbia, what my vision is for British Columbia, and why they should elect me for a second time to allow me that opportunity to represent Parksville-Qualicum in Victoria, to be their voice and ensure that we are putting things forward for the betterment of all British Columbians.
Amazing. On your personal note, anything planned in the future? Obviously, you're still going to be involved. You're going to be involved with kids in athletics and promoting. Will you be promoting your sport or just athletics in general? Do you kind of see anything happening with that?
Well, I'm still going to be a kids sport ambassador. I'm still going to be involved in sport in a multiple faceted ways. I'm speaking on a panel with Minister Qualtrough and Senator Petitclerc in April for the Canadian Paralympic Committee. It's kind of fascinating that both of them are female Paralympians who are now in the political field, both doing dynamic things, and I think that panel will be, I'm really looking forward to being able to spend some time with those incredible women to share our stories and talk about the future of sport at the Paralympic level. I'll always be a mentor for those up-and-coming athletes, able-bodied or not.
That's right.
It doesn't matter,
right.
again, because Paralympic sport is just about equipment and changing the way you do it, and you're still an athlete. So, you know, I'll be in the schools and sharing my story with the youth in our communities and around the province, and ensuring that, you know, they understand what is possible for them, but they're in control of those decisions that they make and the path that they create for themselves.
True role model, true inspiration as a person, as an athlete, I'm sure as a wife and a mother. I can only imagine the pride and the overwhelming feel of joy that your household must have. It just must be amazing, and so it's been my privilege to sit here with you. It just humbles me that I'm sitting here with you and these medals, and it's just what really, you know, motivates me is these are just reminders of what we all have the ability to do. We may not all get Olympic medals, right? But we all have some ability deep down inside that needs to come out, that we can just do amazing things, you know?
Just keep trying, right? Never stop trying to improve. Always try to do your best.
How can I end the show on anything better than that? Never stop trying to improve, always seek knowledge, always learn from others. It's no secret that, you know, athletics is huge to me. Obviously, we both got a little teary-eyed there. I mean, I was the kid that grew up watching medal ceremonies and just wanted to be an athlete, right? Simple as that.
That's where it starts.
And hopefully we can do this again some point
I'd love
down
to.
the road. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay inspired. Cheers.